Hey everybody, it is Freekbass. How you doing? Welcome to Bass Talk with Freekbass. I'm here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time here at the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Freekbass. YouTube, youtube.com, the Freekbass channel. If you haven't gone over there and given a visit over there yet, if you're not on YouTube right now, stop over there and please subscribe and give a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube and you're digging it. And we are also, I think we're also broadcasting at the mighty Twitter too as well. So all kinds of crazy places, but we get together here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for a little bit and talk a little bit of bass. And I want to thank everybody. I get so many emails throughout the week, people that are, give me ideas for the shows, ask me questions, and a lot of non-bass players too, which is really cool. People just like to see how this whole mechanism works that we play with 4 strings or 5 strings or sometimes 6 or 7 strings. But yeah, so again, thanks for watching. If you're watching on one of the rebroadcasts, hello to you too as well. So we want to jump in today and give a slap bass lesson. A very simple little groove. What I'm going to do is I wrote this line. You heard me playing it at the beginning, which I always do at all the bass talks. And I'm going to kind of show you a couple things I do. I kept it really simple. I just put a beat on, created a quick bass line in the key of C minor. And I'm going to show you a few things that I do when I do slap and thump and pluck bass that kind of enhances the sound and the tone of the line, and something you might want to experiment. So you can like literally just play the exact same thing I do, which will be awesome, and just learn that, which I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. Or take some of these techniques, if you've been playing for a little bit longer and you want to take some of these ideas and techniques and incorporate it maybe into some of your playing, that might be something cool to do too. Okay, so let's start with that line I just did. I'll play it again just real quickly. Here we go. All right, so let me just do it by, with no drum beat, just me straight. So here's the actual line again. One more time. Okay, so let's get into the actual notes I'm playing first, and then I'm going to get into like some of the technique side. Notes, what I'm doing, it's all in C minor. I'm starting on the 3rd fret on the A string, C. Then I'm going up to E flat on the D string, so 1st fret, the minor 3rd. And then I'm going to F, 3rd fret on the D string, and then doing a pull off back to that E flat. And then we're going to go down to the low B flat, 1st fret on your A string, then on the octave of that B flat, the 3rd fret on the G string. Okay, so we got so far. I'll just do it kind of finger style just so you can concentrate more on the notes, not worry about the technique. So then we go back to the B flat, and then C, E flat, B flat, C. Okay, so again, the one thing I do when I create a line, and I always talk so much about here on Bass Talk, is really feel the space, really like acknowledge the space, just like a drummer with the, between what they're doing with their foot, with the kick drum and the snare and the hi-hat. There's a lot of space that's being created within that beat. It's not just like every little millisecond is taken up. So the same thing I do with my bass line, I listen to the bass, or excuse me, to the drum, and then build it out from there. Okay, and so you can see what I'm doing initially, and this is what for slap bass players, if you're just beginning slap bass playing, or if you've been playing for a while, I'm just literally coming down on thumping on that A string on the 3rd fret. Now here's a couple little things I do, and this is what I was talking about for people that might be playing for a little while longer, or if you're just beginning out. You see my hand a lot of times, and actually even had some people comment on this, where they see my thumb going over the neck sometimes. And, normally, when I first start out, I talk about how important it is to keep your thumb behind the neck, for good technique. The reason I'm doing this, I'm not doing this because I'm, out of laziness or just because I'm just bad technique or whatever. I like to use in my thumb. I kind of use it I'm using it to stop the ringing of the E string. So part of when thumping, I like thumping pretty hard. And if you're thumping really hard on a bass, a lot of times it'll make other strings vibrate, i.e. the E string. So if I wasn't, even that, it would be subtle if I was just thumping, even with good aim, if I was hitting that third fret on the A string and I didn't have the E muted in any way, it would create a little bit of ring. And you notice that, you might not notice it so much live, but when you record, and everything's right under the microscope, you hear every little thing there is. So that's one of the reasons I do that. Other bass players, I think Victor does this, Victor Wooten, where they'll take like hair ties and they'll kind of put it over the strings to stop that ringing, which is a cool way to do it too as well. I just like using my thumb so I'm not tied into anything being there. I know you can always slide it back, but I just like using my thumb. And so I use my thumb, again, it's to kind of to mute out that E string. So that's tip number 1, I guess, okay? So, I'm thumping on the C. Now, when I go up to the E flat, I could thump that too, like that, and do all thumping. But tonally, I think it sounds, usually when you think about plucking, it's usually a lot of times people think of it more on the bottom G string, down there. But I like the way it sounds, not only just on the D string, but actually on all the strings, but especially on the D string because it's a thicker string. So as opposed to with thumping with my thumb, I'm plucking it. Now, the other thing that I do too as well, which is another thing I think you can incorporate into your thump and pluck playing, i.e. slap bass playing, is to right before I do that pluck, I'm coming down with my hand first. So it's not just, it's da ba, ba ba, as opposed to just da da. So da, like that, and it gives a little more percussive element to the line, and it to me it makes it a little kind of groovier and funkier too when you do that, as opposed to just going. So you got, it's very subtle, but it'll add just a little bit of grooviness to your line. And then I'm doing that pull off also. I am literally pulling the F to the E flat, as opposed to going thumping it. Now, certain situations I might do a thumping line, actually using my thumb for that. But for this line, since it's so spacious and big and there's so much space in there, I'm actually pulling it off, plucking it, and it really, gets, you hear that the pull, that string, if you're using a filter pedal like I am. And by the way, on this, I'm using, a lot of people ask me about which filter pedals I use. This is the MXR bass envelope filter by Jen Dunlop. Great pedal. So, but yeah, so, and then that kind of sets me up for going down to that low B flat for the thump too. And then I can straight pluck on the B flat up there, down that, like that too as well. And it's cool if you're playing with a drummer too. Obviously I put a beat in here, but if you're playing with a drummer, they can accent that too. And you get like a relationship if you're playing with a live drummer. Rico, my drummer, and I, we have this really good, we know each other, what we're going to do in terms of our feel, but we also kind of visually see things that we do. I see certain things that he does on drums, and I know how to mimic it with my hand, and he sees things I do with my thumping and stuff, and he kind of mimics it too. Like, he might da-da, like he might accent that as well. See, I did it again there, as opposed to just going, but like that too as well. And then you can just leave all that space in there. So, and it's cool to put fills in every once in a while, but I think I might even done it once at the beginning of this this stream is I threw one of those in there, almost like a snare hit. But you still want to respect the space. You don't want to go overboard with it. You want to, let that space breathe. And the space, like I think I mentioned that on last week's show, the space is part of the music too. It's not just when you're physically playing. It's when you're not playing is part of the music. It's all part of that groove. So you want to really feel that space as much as when you're just playing the note. I mean, it's almost like breathing. You feel that groove and the space as much as the actual note part of it too as well. So so that's kind of it. Again, so it's just C minor, C, E flat, F, pull off to E flat, low B flat. Do that octave, pluck that octave back to the low B flat, C, E flat, B flat, E, C. And you see, it's not a whole lot of notes too. It's real spacious in terms of notes too. It's just based all around that little C thing. So let's hit it one more time. I'll get a little busier in there, put a couple things, but I want to keep it real about pocket too. So let's try it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just nothing, right? Maybe some. So there you go. And if you get that really locked in there, you could play that for an hour and it would feel good, with other people doing stuff on top of what you're doing too as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Please leave them in the comments below, whether you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook and Twitter as well. And also, what else? Oh, make sure you always please join me Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and Saturdays 10 p.m. Eastern Time live over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Freekbass. All these toys you see around me right here, I am all that kind of stuff. Yeah, good stuff there. We're creating grooves live, right? That's what it is. Live grooves with Freekbass. That's over at twitch.tv/Freekbass. Just go over there, hit the follow button, and come join the chat. It's so much fun. It's a really good time. But everybody have a great week. Play lots of bass. And, let me know if you got any ideas for any future shows. And I got some cool stuff lined up over the next few weeks. Everybody have a great week. All right, I'll see you next week. And... again, play more bass.